Mentally feel like Kobe, I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you push it 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats, circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready, who ready?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the One-on-One Sports Show right here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, followed by my salute to my brother from the bold and the beautiful, the beneficent, benevolent Ball Brotherhood of the BNE Network. My coach, Coach Ferg, is in the building. We're waiting for Brother Dante. He'll be with us shortly. Shawnee's got the night off. Hopefully he takes care of his business and whatnot. But we are here in the house on this last sports weekend of October, so we're going into the winter months and winter ball, the leaves are falling and whatnot, daylight savings, all that stuff is going, but we are certainly in the middle of the NFL football season. We're at the halfway mark, and a lot of things going on. We got the World Series. We'll be talking about that as well. So, lots of, things, but, certainly we appreciate you guys being with us tonight. If you see at the bottom of the screen, you see certainly our Cash App scrolling by. So certainly we appreciate anything that you give us personally, but more importantly, consider dropping a donation, certainly to the Black Man Unfiltered Network, his Cash App. Consider hitting the like button as you come in, helps the algorithm. Consider becoming a member. Certainly of the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Hit the subscribe and follow buttons, and we give you content 7 days a week here, and sort of different shows for your liking. But we just appreciate you guys just being with us tonight. So brother Coach Ferg, how have you been, sir? What's going on?
What's up, brother Bennett, man? Can you hear me pretty well?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I got my alternate equipment, but yeah, it's been a pretty good week, man. Just trying to finish up my project, man.
I hear, yeah. So I know you were doing, you were the tools. You built the closet space in the basement and all that. So yeah. You just finished that up. You got something else going on. You look like a guy.
I'm moving slow because I'm double putting the spackle down, twice. So I have to let that dry a couple of days. But yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm gonna start sanding and painting on Friday, so then I can start putting in my racks and build. I'm going to build a little floating shells in the corners for all of my colognes and personal hygiene. But yeah, so I'm about there, man. Taking my time.
That's what's up. And let me question: are you still 55? Or are you 56 now?
56, my man.
I was trying to catch you, man. I just turned 55, man. So I thought we were going to be part of the 55, the double nickel club for a minute there, but certainly good to be a member of it. And so I'll try to catch you next year. But yeah, man, shout out to the Gen X, shout out to the 7Bs, and we just over here, we just rolling, man. So good to you guys be with us this evening again. Sister Catellia, again, first place, black and yellow. So again, we're going into our bye week and whatnot. So we are sitting pretty nicely right now, and looking forward to a game coming up. So again, Coach Ferg will be back. But yeah, I want to get into some of these topics here. So obviously, we got the World Series going on right now, and the Yankees and the Dodgers, and certainly been following this since Friday. Was out, kind of celebrating my birthday a little bit, and I'm watching the game. I'm watching Game 1, and seeing Yankees up 3-2 going into the 10th inning, and then they walk the leadoff man. And honestly, I turned the game off after that. It's like that's the cardinal sin you cannot do, is walk the leadoff man. Needless to say, Yankees lost that game. Guy hit a grand slam, 6-3. whatnot. And then it's just been a struggle ever since for the Yankees to be scoring runs. So here it is. You know, you got Aaron Judge. Yeah, he'll hit you 60 home runs in a year. But you know, it's like we have an MIA, we have a missing person for Aaron Judge. So I don't know, Coach, how much of the World Series have you watched? I know you had said it'd be a high-scoring series. Certainly, there've been a couple. I mean, certainly last night's game. Certainly, you know, Yankees were able to break out for 11. But again, the runs, again, Judge and a lot of these guys have just been disappointing. But I said going into this, the Dodgers are tough. You got to put at least 6 runs on the board to bury these guys. And if you're not putting 6 or more up, I mean, they are a tough out. So what's your initial impressions so far of the Dodgers? And do you think the Yankees are even capable of making a comeback? I mean, obviously they got to win tonight to take it back to L.A. But you know, what have you seen in the series so far for your impression?
I mean, you know, like I said, I look at any runs over 5 or 6 as high scoring for baseball, especially this time of year when you got the best players and the best teams, you know, fighting for a championship. I'm surprised that the Yankees haven't came to play as much as the Dodgers. The Dodgers are stacked from top to bottom, you know, from first batter through 9. But I'm just surprised that the big bats for the Yankees haven't really showed up. You know, they have some of the highest payroll every year in baseball. And like you said, Judge leading the league in the last 3 to 5 years, homers. What has he homered in this playoff game?
Home runs. He had an RBI single last night, and that's been it. I mean, he might have maybe two hits in the whole series so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but you know, it's going to take them 6 runs again or more tonight. Hopefully, what I saw yesterday, just a continuation. Now, at this point, it's almost like you have to try everybody. Everybody gets it. We need to find the hot bats. You know, I'm thinking as a manager, we need hot bats. And if listen, you might be a scratch out of the 3rd inning and 2 strikeouts. And hey, we need hot bats, you know. So, but I do believe that we could possibly see, well, I think if the Dodgers win, the MVP is already set. Yeah. But it would be a great feat if the Yankees come back and at least go 7 from where they are. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be a huge feat if they just go back. You know, again, you never want to lose on your home field. So if they can just take it back to LA and let those guys you know, celebrate out there. But if they can push it to a game 7, then all bets are off. Now I think the pressure goes on the home team, and then we'll see then if they can certainly you know, if those bats will start choking up those bats a little bit more and get a little bit tensed. So we'll see there what happens. But part of this World Series, I mean, just, you know, it shouldn't be a story, but I think we got to talk about this a little bit. So there was a controversial play last night. Now, again, we've all seen in baseball history, we've all seen fan interference plays. I think there was a famous play in Chicago. I think the Chicago Cubs. This is back when the Cubs were considered cursed, and they had an opportunity, I think, to beat the Marlins or whatever. And so you had this fan interference that didn't lose the series. I think it lost the game, but not the series. But then everything just unraveled for the Cubs, and they wound up losing that series, even though they were favored to win it. But there was a fan interference play last night that I think we got some video queued up. And, you know, Black Man, if you're back there, if someone can cue that up. And let's talk about this, because I've never seen anything like this before. And you know, I think baseball needs to take some action on this, but this was crazy. I mean, if we got that video, we can show the fan interference play.
Bet says that ball in his glove.
I have never seen, like I said, I've seen guys, you take your baseball cap, you kind of extend it over the field or whatever and catch a home run, and they marked it a home run when it should have been marked as a double. I've seen plays like that. I've never seen where a fan literally grabs the glove. Now, again, just the position as he's in, he could have damaged his wrist. So I'm like, you know, I know that the guy was removed, and I read a story earlier that the guy, he is banned from the remainder of the World Series. And keep in mind, those tickets weren't cheap. I mean, I was looking at some of the prices for the series. The minimum tickets I saw was like $1,300 to get there. And you know, I just think, you know, baseball should, you know, this should result in the death penalty for this fan. I know there have been situations in the past where you've had fans that have been banned, lifetime bans from games or whatnot. I think they need to lay the hammer down on that, because that was a very dangerous situation, certainly for Betts. And I'm glad he didn't engage in the fan or whatever, or take it any more than when he needed to. But what'd you think of that, man?
I mean, hey man, like you said, it could have been a crazy injury. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy the fact that they actually wrestled the ball out of his hand. That was wild. He had it in his glove,
Had
and they
his two hands on the glove, tried to rip it out. I mean, what
that was wild.
Yeah.
I think at some point it's going to be netting all the way down foul line at some point. I think they were trying to do it at one point with people getting hit.
Yeah.
Then they started to go back to the bullpens.
Right.
But I think just because of this one bad apple, it may extend, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It may just extend all the way down the foul line. That way, at least until the edge of the stadium seats.
Right.
Right there. So
at least at the home run mark at the pole. You know what I mean? You could take it all the way to the pole, and then
but you still have, like, even if it's foul, it still has enough playing space. But I think right there, like they do at the home behind the plate dugout, it's right there with it in front of the fence, along the seating. Right. Just put it right there, because this was wild. People are wild.
So I mean, I'm sure after all this settles down, like I said, the guy, I don't know how much he paid for those tickets. He might at those level seats, he might have been spending $2,000-$3,000 for those. One, you're not getting your money back. Number one, and be fortunate they don't litigate against you, whatever. But I think baseball certainly needs to take some action. You would hate for that to happen, certainly in again, spoil it for other fans. But again, like I said, we've seen, and ironically, I've seen quite a few. Like I said, with Yankee Stadium, like there was a home run back in '95. Don Mattingly, I think he hit a ball, and the fan just reaches his glove out. Now he doesn't necessarily interfere with the player, but he reaches his cap out and catches it. But they call it a home run, when really it should have been a ground rule double in that situation. It's got to clear the fence, and he extended over the fence. Now, if you want to be like my man Dave Winfield back in the day, he had some catches where he would scale the wall. Kirby Puckett, they would scale the wall and extend like their whole arm into the stands, into the fans, and still grab the ball and then take it out. Now, if you go and do that, then I think all bets are off. I think that certainly once that ball clears that wall, it's a fight for the ball at that point. And I don't have an issue with that. But that was certainly egregious. And again, I'm just happy, even though I'm a Yankee fan, I'm just happy that again Mookie Betts wasn't hurt because of that fan, and more importantly, I'm just happy that he didn't engage. You call it out, let the security do what they need to do to escort that person out of there. But that was certainly something that I think MLB will definitely visit in the future. And I think they'll look to make an example of that guy, because he was defiant. You saw when the guys came over, he's like, "What? I'm trying to." All the fans were trying to defend him and everything, but I think you need to make an example of that guy.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna do anything beyond that, because if it was so, they would have detained him right there, and he's gone now. So I just think they're just gonna look into it, and for the future references, they'll probably make a ruling based off any interference whatsoever. Then you could be detained and all of this, charges brought up. But like you said, they actually held him up a second.
It's crazy.
So it could have hyperextended his whole elbow and just could have been bad, man. Could have been really bad.
And you saw another guy, I think towards the end, you had another guy grab him also. So you had the main guy was trying to pull it out, and then there was a guy who was right next to him, and he put his hands on him. And that's just
the other guy ripped the ball out.
It's like you should never, you're not, as a fan, I don't care how much you pay, you could be courtside or whatever. I know there've been some cases in the NBA where you've had some fans that have been ejected like courtside seats. So you got money, but that just gives you a right to call a player anything that you want or whatever. Or, do you just think you're entitled to certain interactions with fans? And, so I think, some of these folks, I think it just need to be, dealt with. That floor seat should not give you a right to certainly to touch a player. And there's again certain things that shouldn't allowed to be said to a player. And I think LeBron James had someone escorted out over some things that they were saying sitting courtside. So yeah. I mean, that was like I said, a scary moment, but hopefully, again, all the Yankees can do is try to win tonight, get it 3-2, to at least push it to a game 6 to be respectable. But again, Judge, now again, I've been a Yankee fan all my life, so I know how tough it is to play in New York City. The media market out here is pretty critical, and that fan pressure can be big. That's why you got guys like, again, Reggie Jackson. He earned the moniker Mr. October for his performance. Derek Jeter. I mean, you got some guys who are like immortals of immortals because of their ability to perform in the postseason. And but I've seen a lot of players like Dave Winfield. I talked about. I mean, the Hall of Fame player, but again, very few playoff moments. I remember that '81 season. It was him and Jackson was on the team. Now I just thought those guys would be like Ruth and Mantle. They would just go and just dominate and just destroy people. And they couldn't find a run against these same Dodgers in that 1981 World Series. I mean, both of them had very paltry statistics in that game. So just because you have guys who can producers, they come to New York. I mean, Jason Giambi, remember he had some struggles when he came here. Just a lot of the Yankees, they'll play the money for the big bats. But again, how you perform in the pro season is basically how your legacy is made here. So, and not most guys, I remember with the Mets, they got that Barry Bonilla. And the crazy thing with that one was he got a lifetime contract. He still makes $1 million a year. He signed a $25 million guaranteed contract. He gets $1 million still to this day from the Mets. And didn't do jack when he was here. I don't know if they made the playoffs. I don't know. And they definitely didn't make a World Series when he was here. But again, these guys came, he's a big player with the Pirates with Barry Bonds and Bonilla. That was that 1-2 combination there. He comes to New York and certainly doesn't live up to expectations, but my man gets to this day $1 million every year. That's going back quite a few years. So that's some big money right there.
That's why I say, man, it's a great opportunity.
That's a nice
baseball. Play baseball. Why don't we?
Absolutely. You could pull that off, man. Hey, I would I rather. Well, that's a question, bro. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have just the giant lump sum payment, or would you just like to have that, just knowing that $1 million is coming in every year? If you want the $25 million up front, or do you just want that million just every year? You just go to the mailbox, whatever, you just see it coming in.
Young me would want it now. Today,
the wise.
If my son was presented with that offer, I would present to him the best scenario to say, look, go ahead and take it. 25 years stretched out, because your playing career could be anywhere between 10 and 15. Okay, cool, but after your first 2 years, I mean, I guess if you get a big contract, once you buy everybody a house, a car, buy your little fake gold and all that, then I'd rather get that $1 million every year and just for 25 years.
I'm the same way, man. Actually, let me ask the chat. So again, we got Catalia's in chat. Again, we got Smitty's Corner in chat as well. Next level. Good to see you guys tonight. So again, what would you rather do? So you got $25 million on the table. You want that 25 mil up front, or do you want that spaced out over 25 years? So every year you get $1 million. What would you rather do? So I'm just curious. Just want to see the mindset, the financial, how the machinations of the financial minds are on this matter. But we're gonna move on. Yeah, we're gonna move on from here. But again, I would certainly be interested. If we can put a poll out there, I'd rather that'd be cool as well. But yeah, $25 million up front, or $1 million a year for 25 years. I think even didn't Magic Johnson have that as well? I think that big contract when he first came to the Lakers, I think it was like a 25-year contract, $1 million a year. So he did pretty well. He did pretty well with that. Man owns certainly one of the wealthiest former players ever. And when you hear about these guys who multi-million-dollar guys going broke, maybe there's something to be said for instilling some discipline when you have that kind of money. So so for those in the chat, I'd be Beak again. Good to see you tonight. Again, $25 million up front or $1 million a year for 25 years. What would you rather have? So we're going to go on to the next topic as we chop that up. So again, we had a very exciting NFL week 6 where I think the big story coming out. So again, what I've been doing as of late, and I kind of like how we do this. There's several topics that I took, several perspectives that I took from the NFL weekend, so we can chop it up and certainly hopefully Dante will be here. He can certainly certainly chime in as well. But obviously you got the big story. So again, we got something's happening in Washington. We have the emergence of Jayden Daniels, who just seems to have that magic dust on him. So again, a very exciting game against the number 1 pick in Williams at Chicago. So they take it down to the wire, Hail Mary play. And I don't know what the defenders were doing or whatever. I don't know if they were playing defense or playing volleyball or something like that. But it looked like somebody just volleyball the ball up. You know how you set up for the kill strike or whatever. So someone just hit the ball straight up in the air, and the Washington receiver is right there to catch it for the game-winning touchdown. But what can you say about this kid Daniels, who seemed like in the face of opposition, he's been playing so well. Hey, R-Pain, good to another brother from the bold and the beautiful, benevolent ball by Speckled.
What's going on? What's going on,
so you see these brilliant, ball-headed, bifocal brothers in the house. So we know we're going to have this good discussion tonight. And R-Pain, I know you saw some of them games over the weekend. So again, Jayden Daniels. Again, I know a lot of people were in Washington were hopeful when RG3 came out, but unfortunately injuries put him down. And certainly I know he got banged up in the game before this. People weren't sure if he would be playing, but he's just got something magical going on. I know DC area is hot right now. So what did you take from that? And what do you think this guy's his future? Where do you think he can go with this?
Well, let's get it straight. First of all, they dodged the bullet. they dodged the bullet last.
You need a little luck in life. You know what I mean?
But you know what? They said the play might have been playing with one guy behind at them. You bat it up and see if you get it. He has a decent arm. He's elusive. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So he got a decent arm. I think he's gonna go far, man. He can only get better.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a fluke.
Yeah, he seems to have ice water in his veins. He does. I mean, he may not lose, but again, they're 6-2. They're clearly in first place in the East right now. We'll talk about Dallas in a minute, but he's got those guys believing in him. He is not afraid of the moment. He plays well even in the loss. I mean, I know even the Baltimore game, I thought he played well against your Ravens. But he's saying, look, I'm here. So I mean, just seeing, again, the battle of these young quarterbacks. So you got him, you got Williams, you got Caleb Williams, you got again Stroud and Love, and obviously the GOAT arguably in Kansas City. So I mean, you have all these brilliant black quarterbacks who are just changing the league, and they're becoming the face of now. My man Richardson in the Colts. That might be another story. I don't know what's going on with him. He's got benched I think they're benching him for the year.
Is that right? For the whole year? Wow.
Well, Flacco's been named the starter, so he's going to have to do a lot to get out of the doghouse. But apparently there was a play where he didn't want, for whatever reason, he didn't want to go back in the game.
He said he was tired. He said he was tired.
But you can't do that. You can't do that.
You said by going back because I'm tired. He pulled a Scottie Pippen.
So,
he took himself out of the game. He said he was gassed because I think he ran on the play before. And but
look, you lead a quarterback. You can't do that. Have you ever seen this quarter? I've never seen in history. And then quarterbacks get take me out the game, coach, because I'm tired for a play.
Never heard that before,
or a timeout or something, but you can't be taking, when your team.
I would say, listen, man, we're gonna do a running play at least so I can catch my breath or something. You know what I'm saying? But still.
Yeah. That's why you got those plays in the book, and you got a decent running back at the same time.
Flacco, man, is always dangerous.
Oh, definitely. He can. They say that arm is the last thing to go. He's a statue back there, but if you give him time, he can sling it. So he did that with I think with Cleveland last year. So hey guys, Guys, there's Michael Jordan saying Steph Curry is not a Hall of Famer yet. Look, I'm not going to entertain that. Michael Jordan, ever since he's retired, he's just sounded like an old miser. He's like that guy. Like,
did he actually say that? Where's the proof he said something? Like
if he did, especially after the way my man delivered in the Olympics and whatnot. So yeah, MJ be hating on people. I remember his Hall of Fame speech. He called out everybody. I mean, for what? For what? I mean, you already the GOAT. I mean, nobody's questioning that. But he just wants to be relevant, man. So, but yeah, I mean, so that was a great one. All I'm trying to
say is we gotta see we gotta see a quote that he said. It could have been tongue in cheek, whatever it is, man. But it ain't.
And I hope he gets well, because I think he's out. He's going to be out for a few games. I think he twisted his ankle again. So Steph's going to be out for at least a few games before he can come back in. But honestly, with the Golden State, I mean, look, I love the era 2015 to 2021, 22. Now that was great. I don't think that's going to be replicated, and I can't see them, being a major factor in the, certainly in the NBA. We're going to talk about NBA in another segment, but definitely want to get to this NFL. So again, we talked about Daniels. Definitely a future star, and now again he's going to be tested because again Steele is also 6-2, number one. Sorry, Arpane, number one in the North.
I don't have no problem with the Steelers.
We got our bye, all right, and we play Washington after our bye. We go to Washington to play them, so that's certainly going to be a test for Daniels and see how he handles that.
So you like my man coming in for the quarterback switch. You like?
100%. And I think you can see it, the touch. I mean, certainly, my man Fields has an arm. He's got a gun. He can throw it hard, but you got to be throwing with some touch. And what you're seeing from Russell Wilson is the touch that he's able to put on these balls. He gives his receivers an opportunity to make a play. So he'll do that back shoulder fade, or he'll do that play where you can, you put it up there and you let the guy get, in front of the defender and catch it or whatnot. So again, he still got some rust to, I think to throw off. I mean, and that game should have been a blowout. I mean, you figure the first touchdown pass, face mask call on the offensive lineman, and then the double tap. Now I don't know. I understand the rule in the NFL. You need 2 feet down, right? He did get 2 feet down. He just got 2 of the same foot. I don't know. I give it to him. You know what I'm saying?
That don't count.
Maybe just me being a biased Steelers fan, I could certainly attest to that. But I mean, certainly there was points still available on the board. They just got some things to clean up. But I think absolutely what I'm also liking is the fact that he is distributing, like everybody's in. Like you never heard from Scotty Miller, you never heard from Jefferson until Russell gets in there. So everybody gets to eat. And what they're also doing is
surprised, though. I mean, either one of you. I mean, are you really surprised? I mean, it's Russell Wilson.
Listen, I wasn't, but there's been a lot in Steelers Nation. There's been a lot of people who were like, look, we're 4-2 with Fields. Let's stay with him. He's the future. Russell's done. I heard a lot of that. I've been to a lot of blogs, a lot of YouTube channels, the Steeler Nation and whatnot. And I would say it was a mix. It was like a 50-50. People wanting to see Russ and see what he could actually do. But people fell in love with Fields.
But there's no way. Listen, Coach Ferg, if you wanted to say something, they had to put him in. See, everybody's looking like Tomlin was a genius. You got this guy on a 1-year contract, correct?
Right.
He's got to play.
Yeah.
You got to know what you got, right? And so I think it was better, like you said, even if Fields was 4-2, it was better to switch him out when there's no negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Really, and see what Wilson can do, because Fields is a young guy, man. He better not go crazy over the fact that he has to sit down for a future Hall of Famer,
right?
Who should have 2 Super Bowls, but let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about that.
That was rough. If anything, I wouldn't even put my man in the Hall, because you could make a case that that coach was had a Hall of Fame track career. As a coach, but that one play alone should keep him out of the Hall of Fame because of that worst play call in Super Bowl history
ever.
Definitely. But coach, get on this. So again, we're seeing Russell, come in 2-0, and seem like the team is clicking a little bit. So again, how you feeling about the move, right time, or would you have stuck with the Fields? How do you feel about how things are going down in Pittsburgh?
Well, I'm a Justin Fields guy. I guess I'm partial to him because I played football against his dad. I knew his dad, so
Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, his dad was maybe a few years older than me. So when I got to high school, his dad was a senior. But when I look back on it, his dad was playing junior Pop Warner football when his ass shouldn't have been playing. He was 3 years old, So, but anyway, what I'm saying? But his big guy. I'm looking at it. Yeah, you can't complain about the move. I think it put Pittsburgh in a greater position than any other team as far as quarterbacks because both quarterbacks have been written off. And now you take Justin Fields, who really doesn't have the track record as Russell Wilson, but he's won at Pittsburgh. He's proven that I think it's a great opportunity to work on his touch passes, to get some more height on it, like Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, you had nothing to lose. You're paying him, $2 million?
$1 million.
Okay, yeah. So, and I think it's going to, at some point, they may go back to Justin Fields at some point.
Well, yeah. But
I don't know.
Russell Wilson has a 2-game losing streak, if he has a 2-game losing streak,
like that,
yeah. But but you win with both. I mean, Pittsburgh is probably the luckiest team in football right now.
Yeah. Now, would you consider bringing in Fields maybe for some plays? Because one thing that they're still struggling with is red zone scoring, getting touchdowns. So
I would definitely do some RPO type
wildcat, some wildcat, something. Yeah,
like
yeah. But I think he's too talented to kind of keep him on. So I would like to see some design plays, especially in the red zone. I mean, they had 3 balls within the 10-yard line, and they still couldn't punch it in. Again, for one reason or another, like I said, either penalty or one was a sort of the receiver ran around wrong route. Welcome to your podcast. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, we're about to talk about your Lions. The Lions that look they're feeding right now. So certainly they're looking like they're arguably the best team in the NFC right now. I know Washington. I know the Cinderella story that they're on. I know the Eagles. They're okay, but it seems like Washington and Minnesota's fallen off. They've lost 2 games in a row, so everybody was hyped about them. But the Lions seem to be like they are starting to feast, even though they lost one of their top defenders, and I think Richardson. Broken leg injury, horrible injury, but they seem to be clicking on all cylinders. So who do you guys think is the best team in the NFC right now? You see, my man, Lord One, he's saying this is Green Bay, but I don't know. This team is
the Saints.
The troller in chief himself, BMU. Shout out to the Saints.
The Lions are. I think the Lions have it for right now, but it's like any given Sunday. I mean, Lions can get a 2-game losing streak. But they look good. They look good. They won the games that they should.
And to be honest, though, as far as the team, if I was going to get the top 3, it would be. This is just my pick: Washington, the Lions, and who else is that? Maybe Green Bay, maybe.
So who's on the Commanders' schedule? Who do they play? I know. So they play the Steelers.
But like I said, Steelers. They play after the Steelers bye week. Let me bring up the schedule. But you guys can. But yeah, I think that clearly I think the Lions are legit. They're very balanced in terms of their play, and I think that they're definitely going to be a problem. I think for anyone else in the East, like I said, I definitely think that those guys have fallen off. Like I said, the Minnesota, and so the only other team that's intriguing me right now, I know the Eagles. Eagles are 5-2. So again, they're going to have some games coming up with them, but just checking their schedule here.
Okay. I'm looking at it too. So
again, they got Pittsburgh. So they got the Giants this Sunday, so that should be a win. Then they got Pittsburgh. Oh, so they got both PA teams. So they got Pittsburgh, and then after that, they're going to be at Philadelphia. So those are going to be two very tough games for them. So if they can survive that, but then they got some easy ones, some very easy games after that, because they're gonna be home against Dallas. All right. And I don't know if we need to talk about the Cowboys. Then their home game against Titans. Then they got their bye week. Then they got the Saints. They got the Eagles again. The Atlanta Falcons, who they may make some noise.
That could be a good game.
And then they end with the Cowboys. So there's a lot of easy games on that schedule, based on what I'm seeing. I mean, the Eagles are going to be the main competition, but the Cowboys, I think that's a wash. I think between them, that was a topic I was going to bring up. Who is the biggest disaster in the NFL right now? Is it Dallas or is it the New York Jets? Right? No. You get the big time receiver. Rodgers is supposed to be back, and I even bought into the hype because I picked that the Jets would be very competitive for a playoff spot this year in the AFC East. And it's just been a total disaster. If you get Saleh fired, I don't care what happened. I think Rodgers is behind that. So you get him out of there. You got an interim coach in. You get some extra weapons, but nothing seems to be working. Rodgers is clearly showing his age. So I think the Jets. Why would you fire your coach that early into the season? I still don't get that, but I just think you just caused a total disruption.
But the Rodgers Kool-Aid, man, the guy hasn't really played serious football in years, right?
Yeah.
So now he's back playing, and he's older, and they probably should have geared the team around, of course, rushing and things of that nature, and let Rodgers, be a super, be a secondary guy, but a super secondary run first, then pass and do all that kind of stuff. But having him throw 30 times a game or something like that, or putting it all on his shoulders, I don't think he's that guy anymore.
Yeah. Because we remember his mobility. I mean, I don't think he was not a running QB, but he could certainly scramble, and he certainly, he was elusive. He would buy himself time with his feet. It's very similar to Russell Wilson. He would be able to buy some time, but I never consider him a running QB, but he can make some plays. But I think, you just sit him in the pocket, and he becomes, again, very normal in that situation. But I mean, but the Dallas situation, they just can't buy one. I don't think they don't have a home win this year. And that whole thing, I think at this point, you paid the big money. You paid $100 million for two players, and you're in a situation now where it may be time to have a fire sale, because I know you got Micah Parsons that I know he's hurt, trying to get him re-signed next year. I think you need to blow this thing up, because I just don't see this.
Who's going to do the sale? My point is, the biggest problem that Cowboys have is that their general manager sucks.
Yeah,
their general manager
who's also the owner.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. He needs to do, who's going to tell an 80-year-old man that you?
Oh yeah, you see, he's threatening radio hosts. He's threatening the livelihoods of radio anybody who crosses him. So
I'm going out with this team. I don't care what happened. What happened to his son? I thought his son was supposed to be taking over.
Well, apparently he's the money guy. He's like the budget and finance guy, or whatever. And then there's another guy. There's this black guy there who's supposed to be, a figure. So it's almost like a three-headed monster. But clearly, Jerry's clearly the figurehead of it all. So yeah, it's just a clusterfuck over there. And I just think that it's they're done. And I would just at this point, tank the season. Get a top 10. I don't know if you can't do anything with the contract now, because I'm thinking now you might as well tank the season and try to get Shedeur. But you just gave your QB $60 million a year, so no one's going to want to take. I can't see who's going to want to take that contract on. So, but you might as well tank the season at this point. I don't see what can be gained that at this point. I don't see these guys turning it around. So I think that's just.
We'll see. It's still.
They let some of their best linemen go, though, on offense. And they didn't even listen. They was a team that was primed to get a running back in the draft. Second round draft pick should have went to a running back. First, they needed a running back. They let Pollard go. You let him go after you let Ezekiel go. So you let your top two running backs go when you're after another. Now you hear you bring back old ass Zeke. It seems like every time he try to kick in this gear, he gets slower.
He built a long
time.
But it's even worse now because again, you could have had Derrick Henry for $8 million.
You could have.
I mean, and it's all about he's potentially an MVP candidate. Now again, just to bring this up. Now again, he's right now. Henry, I think he's around almost 900 yards rushing. 8 games into the season. I can't see him breaking I don't think he's breaking ED's record. I mean, usually these guys, especially, I know the weather gets colder and people try to run it more, but these guys the only guy I never saw had a fall off was Adrian Peterson. He almost broke it. I think he got 2050 something or whatever, but I don't know.
How did they lose the game? I didn't see the game. How did they lose the game to the
defense?
Browns?
The defense. Critical plays in the second half. Defense.
There were a lot of plays, there were a lot of balls from Jameis that should have been picked off. I think the defense dropped like 5 or 6 potential interceptions from Jameis Winston, and then I think just let them off the hook. I mean, Henry didn't have a huge game. I think he had like 72 yards rushing, in the game. But again, still he's still a. And again, I know it's hard because it seems like the MVP award is generally a quarterback award.
Yes.
But I know that they're talking about he could be a potential front runner for the MVP. But again, I just think but Lamar's balling. I mean, he's putting up ridiculous numbers also. So I mean, I can't see they're not going to take it from Lamar to give it to him, especially if they wind up winning the division or going deeper to the playoffs. So I just think that that's going to be a
they didn't play Pittsburgh yet, did they?
No. All the games. It's interesting. All these games with the AFC North. All the games are scheduled in the second half. So again, we go to Washington after our bye week. Then we play Baltimore at home, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati, home against Cleveland. Then we play Philly. Then at Baltimore. The Chiefs come our way, and then we finish at home against the Bengals. So that's going to be a tough second half, which is why I'm glad that we were able to get to 6-2 at the first half of the season, and now it seems like now that we're sort of settled in at QB. Will they make a move at the trade deadline to try to get another bona fide receiver? But the way Russell is distributing this ball around, and he hasn't even utilized his tight ends degree, I don't know if you need to go out and pay. Overpay for a wide receiver at this point. I'm kind of liking the guys that we have.
Forget that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad we didn't go after the guy from LA and all these other guys. Yeah. Now they say Deontay Johnson got traded to Baltimore, so you guys are getting a bevy of rich. But we'll see. We'll see if he makes a difference or not. Hopefully he'll be the mole that ends Baltimore. So that's what I'm hoping on. That he's still got some loyalty to the black and yellow.
The mole.
That's right. So I'm hoping he can do that. But moving on to our last NFL story, and they're still undefeated. Kansas City. Now again, as much as I'm a Steelers fan, I picked at the beginning of the season. I got Kansas City 3-peating until you beat them. Now again, they looked ugly in every game.
Yes,
they just got the veteran wide receiver from I think he came from the Titans. I think the vet.
He came from
Hopkins. Yeah,
Titans. Yeah,
with the Titans. So they just got him. So just when you think they're on fumes with the wide receivers and whatnot, plus you also see what's happening in the another thing that happened was I think with the Texans, they lost Diggs. I think the wide receiver, he's out for the year. So just like when you think there'd be some advantages to beating them or whatnot, here they go again. They win ugly, but they're winning.
That's right.
And my thing is, until you beat the man, like Ric Flair says, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And with Mahomes, I don't put it past, and he doesn't even have to play well. Yeah, I know that defense is pretty stout there. but Mahomes, he's going to turn it on at some point in time. So I know the Chiefs. Who do they play coming? Check their schedule. So they play Tampa. Tampa Bay is coming in next week. Then they got Denver, who's actually pretty good. Shout out to Denver. I thought they were going to be a disaster this year, and they won like 5 in a row. So they're playing very well right now. But then they got at Buffalo. Carolina's an easy win. Vegas should win. Chargers. So really, the only other teams they got Houston towards the end of the season. Then they got Pittsburgh. They come to Pittsburgh to play. They may give them a challenge, but I don't see anybody knocking them out. I'm not saying that they're going to go undefeated, but they're going to be very formidable, and I can't see them not getting the number 1 seed in the AFC. And if that be the case, now Black Man asked a question earlier: can Russell Wilson beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City? I don't think so. No. So again, that game certainly could be pivotal when they do play. I think that's Christmas. That's a Christmas game. Christmas Day they play them in Pittsburgh. That could be a pivotal game, especially if Steelers handle their business. But it's
not likely. But you know what? You never. Well, here's the thing: when people ask that kind of question in football, you can never say no, because any given Sunday it applies to every game.
Yeah.
It really does, man. It just really does. So it's not likely, especially if Kansas City wants to actually achieve something they haven't done before, win with no losses. But, they could be like resting people for that's the last game of the season, because it could be like 3 or 4 games up and all that stuff. Yeah. I hate the
well, again, if Pittsburgh is going to be legit, then I think they need to, because again, it could wind down to them playing for number 1 seed Christmas Day. So really, I think a lot of it's going to be how the schedule goes. Obviously, they're not going to be resting players.
You just read off Pittsburgh's schedule.
Lamar is 2-4 against the Steelers, and I think we're like 8-2 over the last 10 games over Baltimore, whether he played or not. So I'm very optimistic there. I think we swept, if I'm not mistaken, we actually swept the AFC North last year. I don't think Cleveland's going to be a problem. So the only other team in Cincinnati, I don't think they're going anywhere. That was a bad loss that they had last week. So really, it's going to be us in Baltimore vying for it. And we play those games are dirty, they're tight, they're not blowouts. So it could go, and it could go either way. I'm just saying, over the last 4 or 5 seasons, the Steelers have had the advantage, and they know how to contain Lamar Jackson. So again, if that game comes down to, potential number 1 seed, then I think all bets are off. And I think it's going to be, at that time, we'll see if in fact Russell, if he can beat Kansas City in that game, then I think that's going to create a lot of optimism, regardless of what the game is, whether it be in Kansas City or not. I think that's going to be a competitive contest. So definitely looking forward to that. But want to move on. So obviously we got the beginning of the NBA season. I don't think we had an NBA sort of preseason or predictions show. So we got some topics here as we go towards the at the end of the show. We got whether or not will the Celtics repeat? Are they still favored as the number 1 seed coming out of the East? You got LeBron James. So you had LeBron and Son. You've heard of Sanford and Son. So now you got LeBron and Son. Matching up again is just this nepotism run wild. Apparently he's going to play against in the Cleveland game coming up, so he's slated to play. Whether or not he's earned playing time or not, that's going to be a factor. You got Embiid. The Sixers were fined $100,000
for what?
For apparently faking or misreporting on Joel Embiid's alleged injury that he had. Like, he didn't play, so they kind of I don't know if they faked an injury report, and apparently so they got NBA fined him $100,000. And then, of course, we have the story that just keeps on giving. Ben Simmons with the Nets. Probably they say will not be playing back-to-backs. He's got more injury problems or whatnot. It's like when is it going to be over for this kid? I mean, look, I don't want to see anything bad happen to the guy, but again, we can all admit this has been a colossal failure.
What's all the bullshit? I thought he was ready to play.
Well, he's not playing in any. I mean, he's got, I think, a low back injury. that he's nursing right now, and I think also the plan is him not to play any back-to-backs for the year. So I've never seen a more coddled product than Ben Simmons, and I just don't understand why he's still in the league when you got guys who've been busting their tail for the lifetime to want to be in his position when paid for play for a fraction of this kid's contract. So I don't know what the motivation is. If you don't want to play basketball, same thing with him, and same thing with Kawhi.
I think it's a little bit different. I think it's a little different.
So break it down. Let me hear you.
I think Kawhi's knees are shot, man. He can't play. He should be retired, a medical retirement, but his contract is too big. He honestly can't play more than a couple of games in a row. He just can't do it. And it's been that way for a couple of years. I mean, remember that the Clippers had a blowout win in the playoffs. Everybody said, man, these guys look like they're real. And then all of a sudden we get the news report that Kawhi's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's knee is gone. It's at the cartilage is all gone. He really shouldn't be in the league. And the fact that they almost sent him to the Olympics was crazy. And they brought him back. So the guy, I think him and Ben Simmons are not the same, even though it looks like that. Ben Simmons.
So going back when you had Popovich, that whole load management thing, do you think that was attributed to the injury then, or that was just what do you think?
I give you that one. I just think that I think that was maybe that's why maybe it's not turnabout is fair play. I think he was loafing on that one because he did play well up in Toronto. He
won a championship, first one for Canada. So
but I think his knees are really shot, man. I really do. I don't think he's faking this stuff. I think he can't do. He just can't play a lot of consistent games. Yeah. But Ben Simmons though is just different, man. I think I can't. I just don't believe he doesn't want to play, but he doesn't want to give up the contract.
Who would? Think about it.
Well, what I'm saying is they usually buy you out. But it's on fractions of the dollar. He should be. I think this should be his last contract. I don't think they should ever give him another contract.
Oh, totally not. Yeah. But it's just go ahead, Coach.
No, I don't think he get another contract. But I'll say this: he won't get another major contract. He's good enough to be a, lower level paid player, $3 million, $4 million a year. He's good enough. But again, his confidence is gone.
He still won't play though. He might be good enough, but is he going to be better for a team?
He's going to make a team roster because he has the ability. I just think his confidence. Again, man, he's too emotional. He needs to get some real emotional counseling because
he needs some counseling. So now
okay. I mean, he was okay until people started.
He's almost a 10-year vet now, though, right? He's been
28 years old. So far this season, he's averaging 5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 5.7 assists in 24 minutes. So again, he's only playing limited minutes as it is. And again, the Nets just announced he will not be playing back-to-back games for the entire year. So already going into the season, he's going to be. So again, what impact could he possibly have that a bench player coming off your 7th, 8th man could have? You can get that kind of production.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be a good man off the. He won't listen. He is not a good role model for players, even as a role player. It's because when you need him most, he's not going to be available.
Yeah, it's very, very.
It's a hit or miss. Hey man, we really need you. Oh man, my little back thing, man. Listen, he's
really not a starter. He's supposed to be coming off the bench. But what do you do with 6
I'm not arguing with that. I'm not arguing with that. Go ahead.
5 points a game. Shit, I can get 5 points a game right now. I guarantee you. I can at least get my shot off and get a couple of loose balls. But I mean, still, I'm not gonna say no diddy. But you know what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate, man, because up until his injury and then the crucifixion that he's received, and his confidence is shot. And once a player's confidence is gone,
Well, again, go back to that Philly series, that Philly playoffs, where he just did not want to shoot. He just and he's never been the same since.
Absolutely.
So I mean, so I definitely think it's a mental thing with him, or does he simply want to play? I mean, when you're going into practice and then Doc sends you home, saying, "Look, you're not. It doesn't seem like your head is in the right space here, so you don't need to be here." So you got sent home. I mean,
can I ask you guys a question though?
Yeah,
a little bit different thing. Both of y'all. I approached this with Ferg on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think LeBron staying in the league somehow is hindering the NBA from moving on?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, unless he's going to be still relevant, are they going to make?
He's relevant. He's going to be in the top 10, but with all the skills he has left, is it somehow, some way, shape, form, or fashion holding the rest of the guys from budding and being the new stars that we're looking for?
Budding and being the stars.
Right, they got stars like a man in Minnesota. He's not.
Yeah, I'm not.
New face of the league. Do they need a new face of the league? You know what I'm saying?
There is a new face of the league.
Who's that?
And you talking Jason Tatum? He's the new face of the league.
Is he really?
I don't know if I call him face.
He's one of the I'm telling you, he's going to be the next rise. He's going to be the next face. If he's not already there, they're going to give LeBron his due diligence.
Is it over Luka?
Yes, they're going to give LeBron his due diligence and let him ride the sunset out. They already got a little commercial where he's breathing. They got it to where he's just sitting, taking deep breaths, and they focused in on that. But he's on his last little year and a half. I'll give him 2 years. Next year will probably be his last year. But then, the other guys are stepping up. You're looking at Boston playing tough ball, probably going to come out the East again. Who knows who's going to come out of the West, because LA is doing pretty good right now. But it's a long season. It's going to be interesting, man.
Yeah, you got some. Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they got some young talent that is going to come. But as far as the face of the league, and it's sad too, because I thought Ja Morant had the potential to be the face of the league, But again, he's had obviously his problems and whatnot. We'll see if he can get rid of some of his old habits and associations and whatnot, and just focus on ball. But I thought he was going to be primed, and I thought that with the commercials, with the advertisements, vitamin water, I think they were trying to groom him to be that next face of the league. So that image needs to be rebuilt. But to me, it's either going to be, I think, Jokic. I think is he's always going to be up there perennially as an MVP candidate for the I think for many years to come. He's still going to be he's still going to be there. Then you got the French kid from San Antonio. I think they're going to try to do something with him to make him certainly a face in the league. But I mean, certainly LeBron certainly represents that old guard. But again, I don't think the Lakers are really going to be relevant. Certainly in the playoff picture. So I think certainly that role is going to be greatly diminished. So I think the new and emerging stars, I think, will certainly arise. But I think what I'm hoping though is that also I think with teams, I think the Celtics are primed to be like what the Warriors were in the middle 2010s. I think the Celtics can potentially be that. And I think they got so much talent to kind of spread it around. It's obviously not just Tatum. I mean, Brown was the MVP of the last final, so I think they have a very balanced, and just the way they're coached and whatnot. I think they can be the best team in the NBA for many seasons to come. But as far as like the super or mega stars or whatever, I'm hoping that with the Celtics, the way they're doing it, I hope that we kind of get away from some of that, because again, then it was supposed to be Giannis. He was supposed to be the next guy, and then you saw the disaster what happened with Milwaukee, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think that I think people like myself, and then I'm not just saying that because I'm a Celtics fan, but I just like, again, that team ball. I think what was nice about Golden State, yes, it was the Splash Brothers and all that, but it's still just the open style of play that they it was a team play that they gave that really you know, because I never remember staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning watching Golden State Warriors games, but they got me doing that for many years because of that style of play. So I see the Celtics and then, you know, definitely primed to come out. I think they certainly have, you know, as good a chance of anybody certainly to repeat again. And but yeah, as far as new face of the league, I think some of the guys, because the guys in OKC, I think the guys, you know, there'll be a sort of a round robin of guys who can certainly step up. It's going to be an open competition that who wants to be the face, but I see LeBron as the OG who just, like, you know, and I think in the next year or so he's going to do like Dr. J did. He's going to go on the farewell tour and you know, make his rounds and be out of it. But I can't see it. You know,
well, they should.
I can't see it going any further than that. Yeah, for sure.
Somebody's backstage. So
who's backstage?
Dante.
I thought somebody was backstage.
Dante's backstage. Come on up here, cowboy.
What's going on, fellas?
He's still with the brick.
No, it's all good.
Background. With the
Man, look, it's staying. At this point, it's staying. As you see my head down there, I'm about to pull out the mock draft machine, man.
Yeah. So just going forward here. So what do you think is the plan for the Cowboys? Do you think that at this point, is it just tank the season and just, you know, you maybe try to, you know, go for Shedeur or what have you? Do you think the whole thing needs to be broken down at this point? What do you think is going to happen with the Cowboys? And or are you writing the season off? Do you think there's still an opportunity for them? Can they make a playoff run? Can they get into this mix? Obviously, they've fallen deep behind Washington and the Eagles, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. You know, this kid Daniel seems to be legit. I know we play him in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping they can certainly knock some of the fairy dust off him, you know, and bring him back down to earth. But Eagles and Philly are clearly the class of the division. So I'm like, do you see a path for the Cowboys? And if not, do you think they should just break this thing all the way down?
I mean, there's a path, but my thing is, I've seen so much evidence that I don't believe it's just possible. Nothing has this far into the season. No game with the offense has looked good. The defense, even with the starting guys, looked bad. So it's to the point to where in my group chat with my friends, I was just like, I know Jerry and Steven won't ever do it because he's a star player, but to reset the rebuild, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they told Micah, hey, push back another week, and kept extending him back. And, you know, and then when the losses pile up, then maybe you play him just so that he's healthy. Maybe you win a few games, and then maybe you shut him down and you trade him in the offseason. As far as you have a bad pick and you trade a player, you get more capital, and then you kind of jumpstart it because you're paying the receiver a lot, you're paying the quarterback a lot, and then you're going to pay Micah a lot. And then there's other guys that are going to come and need paydays. So that's the decisions that the front office has to make. But the only way I think things like that truly start to happen, where they evaluate where we need to make changes. I know it happened in 2020. The Cowboys and 49ers got flexed on a Sunday night spot because both teams were bad. And that really grinds Jerry's gears. If they start to flex out of those games and the losses pile up, the tension is already high. You see Trayvon Diggs getting into it with a reporter after a game, which is inexcusable. But it's like it could get that bad. Like, I want to say they were giving a breakdown and they were like, hey, do you think the Cowboys will win 8 games? And they were like, hey, what 5 wins do you see? And from the team that I've seen, I don't know if other than Carolina is on the schedule, other than Carolina and other than the Giants, those are the 2 you would say, hey, those are locks. Everybody else, you probably would say, if you look at it in Vegas, they're probably not favored. So that's how bad it is. And they should really look into that. That's not Jerry's thing. I think he's more of an organic tanker, like someone's hurt. But right now, like, he's put together a product that's so poor that you know, no depth. Like, we got guys that are literally need to be on the practice squad and only called up once or twice. Those are starting guys for you. Guys that were street free agents that didn't get picked up in main free agency during April and March, just playing for you. So it's pretty bad. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
So Dante, I hear you talking, right? With all the plans, right? If Jerry Jones is still making the decisions, right, how are they going to possibly get better? I mean, the team is the way he wanted it to be right now. So even if they rebuild, is there any faith that he's going to rebuild something better than you got right now?
The only way that I see a path to getting better is like Mr. Bennett was saying, was to lose a lot of games. And if you have a draft pick high enough that people want a quarterback, because obviously when people realize about DAC extensions, it doesn't kick in until next year. So you're locked into him for 5 years. So do you want to look like Atlanta, who, hey, Kirk Cousins got it going, and now you got this cheap quarterback just sitting there, sitting on his hands. Now, if Kirk gets hurt, hey, you got him going, but you wouldn't take another quarterback that high, so you trade down a little bit and you get some pieces you need, because Lord knows they are a draft and develop front office, and they haven't drafted well in some key places. Like Mozzie Smith, I know y'all saw the game where it said, hey, say what you want about Pro Football Focus, but if somebody is ranking you 119th out of 119 people, you're really not good, and there's a chance in 2 years you may not be in the league. That's somebody that they didn't want to give up on. If you are a team that they normally draft well, if you draft bad, look at the free agency dollars other teams spend. They're normally spending money because they let that free agent walk, so they have the money to spend. Now the Cowboys are getting to the position where our draft picks need to hit because we paying big money guys, and now that's where you get cluster F like they are right now, where you're paying big guys, you got other guys failing. Jerry will be forced to draft better if they have the pick. My thing is, they're not going to be big players in free agency. I just don't believe it. The only place that you can improve the team is coaching, which he's 100% in control of, and the draft. They have to double down and draft better and get guys. Like they've hit on some guys, but it hasn't been as much as it has been. And when you put it on, you build only on one thing, you get seasons like this.
Who picks the draft picks? So who picks the players? Is it Jerry?
Will McClay. Will McClay. There's a guy we're talking about.
I knew he was more talent evaluation. Steven, I think, is more like the finance guy.
Steven is finance guy, and Jerry's Lady Eloise. I'm going to continue to say it. That's who he is, even though he has the money for the company. But in the sake of making decisions, no, he does interviews. I heard this, and I wish I would have been on last week. Basically, they were talking about how much of did y'all see the story about when former players, you could tour the Star, which is where the Cowboys train up in Frisco, and you can see the players training while you're doing your, they're working out and you're going through the facility. So like that made some good comments about it, but a lot of guys were like, that's what they're doing. No other team is doing this. They make, good money off of doing that. You can pay $90 and you can ask AI Jerry Jones questions. So that's how unserious it is about football at times, where it's just like, dude, you got to be kidding. Now that's cool to some people, but I was just like, I know I couldn't ask those questions. I'm gonna get banned from the Star. But but it's
So Dante, question was at DeMonte Green Beans again. Shout out to you for joining us tonight. So again, saying Micah should go somewhere else. What do you do with Micah Parsons? You try to sign him? Should he want out? I mean, how do you see this situation playing out?
Man, I would like for Micah to go somewhere else, because there are some deficiencies that I think can be improved upon. But you would need a coach that is going to really work with him. And there's coaches that are going to be available that could help deficiencies.
And you think there's deficiencies in Micah's game?
Yeah, just from the standpoint of being disciplined against the run. Like, look, that you are a smaller defensive end. You're really a linebacker, but you have the pass rushing skill. So if they're going to play you at end, you need to be ultra disciplined and make sure that you're turning that run and you're really setting that edge. You know that most every tackle is going to have a power advantage over you. You have to have the wherewithal and the discipline to beat that. You have to have the discipline not to try to go inside and leave that outside exposed. That deficiency in his game, totally fixable. Also, being smaller does wear down, doesn't make as many plays in the fourth quarter when it's nut cutting time, when you need to make a sack, need to make a play. He doesn't always make it. That's something he can improve on. The biggest thing is knowing that you can talk the leadership talk, but at this point in his career, bro, you're just the most talented player we have. Just go over there and just show up and play defense. Not showing up like you don't. I'm a big proponent. Players don't have to show up in the offseason. You don't have to because that's completely voluntary. But a part of it is if you've got other people that are actual leaders showing up, I do think there needs to be a concerted effort that you don't have to be there every day, but a good portion of the offseason you should be there. But he also, the other thing is he has let the star get to him. If you listen to some of his comments that rookie year to now, to the podcast that he does, it's kind of like, bro, you're letting like everything they say that's bad about being a Dallas Cowboy, you're letting that get to you, and you kind of need to get back grounded and shut your mouth more. Nothing pissed me off more last year.
Hold on. I gotta cut out. So do you have it, Bennett? You can log out, Mr. Bennett. You got all that stuff there.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
I do have to leave.
Okay, yeah, well, we're actually literally we try to end this show at 9:20, so we can certainly go around with final comments. I can certainly lead off. Just some key matchups coming up this weekend. I know Arpena, I'm sure you'd be interested in this. Again, the Ravens are playing the Broncos. That's not again. The Broncos are hot right now. They're playing very well, so that I don't think that's a gimme game. And then also look for again the Lions are playing the Packers. So again, so that's certainly going to be a beat 'em up game in the NFC North. So those are two games we're going to be interested in. And finally, Yankees are up 5-0. Aaron Judge finally hit a home run tonight. So Aaron Judge got him on the board. So at least doesn't look like we may get swept unless there's a huge comeback. Doesn't look like we're going to get swept in New York. So that's a good feeling. And so we'll take it back to LA and see what happens. But Coach, well, actually just go to Dante and then we'll have Coach close us out.
Man, I gotta give myself some props here. I didn't see it looking this good, but I said that I felt that Coach Prime was gonna have the Colorado Buffaloes bowl eligible. I thought it was gonna take a little bit longer. They actually look really good. I want to say shout out to Warren Sapp for making the defensive line look good, getting after the quarterback. Got to build in the trenches. Offensive line is done better. They are in contention for the Big 12 title. They need some stuff to fall their way, but they could absolutely win every game left on their schedule. So props to Coach Brown.
Coach?
Hey, man, listen, man, we set our time back on Sunday, so set the time back before you go to bed. Again, this is the middle of football season. The weather will determine who's the best teams in the NFL. Basketball is just beginning. Baseball is coming to an end. Look like we're going to have a longer series. Salute to baseball. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got quite a few sports that you can get your children into. So, don't be lazy for them. Get outside. Let them get involved in some of these sports, man. It can be life-changing. Sports is similar to life, man. A lot of adversity, a lot of things to overcome, but it also gives you confidence to compete against your peers. So, it's a great time, man. Salute to all the sports fans, man. Hey, man, listen, get in shape, everybody, man. Brothers, get your checkups, man. Don't be afraid. Get your checkups, man. We need y'all here. Your family needs you here, man. Other than that, man, get ready for Halloween. Some of y'all ugly people already got your mask on, but that's okay. Wear it proudly all year round. And I ain't talking about your costumes. I'm talking about when you look at yourself in the mirror, man. So, salute, man. Y'all be safe.
All right, our pain's on you, sir. You didn't show now. If you got something to say before you close out, but again, thank you for hopping on with us.
It's always cool, man, to pop up here. Nothing much. I mean, I'm glad to hear the Yankees trying to do something. Is it a 2-3-2? That's what they
2-3-2, right? So they lost. They were down 0-3, and it's looks like they're gonna win this game. Take it back to LA for Game 6. So.
Yeah, well, that's cool. All right. Well, let's see what let's see if they can actually erase that Boston fiasco.
If they do that, I think all will be forgiven then. I think people will get
it. So if I gotta log out, I'll do the intro and at the outro, then it'll be automatic. So I guess I'll just play it. All right. Hey, listen to the chat. You want to say something? Your partner shots to the chat. Hey, chat was hanging out, Mr. Bennett.
Well, again, we certainly appreciate certainly all of you for being part of the chat tonight. And, certainly, again, as a reminder, again, just make sure as you come in or as you leave, just make sure you hit the like button as you leave. Again, consider dropping a Cash App, certainly to support the BMU network. But again, we're always glad that you guys have joined us. And so we're looking forward to another week next time. And until that time, you guys be safe, take care, and God bless.
It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like a so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Need a yeehaw, you know how here for one night and we just wanna party. In a fast car, a Ferrari. It's a push start, I don't need a car key. It's out on Broadway, and it's gnarly. On a late night, but I'm not tardy. Right on time for the parties and Barbies. Strolling with a chunk of green like a golf swing. Hey, 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 hey. Bottles on ice, mess around these skates. Hey, hey, hey. If I gotta say it twice, then I got nothing to say. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Come and kiss me up, it's going down. Like a train with no brakes, I'm not slowing down. See us showing up, we're showing out. Better pack it in till they kick us out. I'm no nailing them, I'm a lunatic. It's no telling when I get loose a bit. Got my babe, my boo.